Hey, welcome back to Thugging It Out. Thugging It Out is a platform where we create a safe space to acknowledge, experience, and overcome real life issues in a positive and healthy way. Our first interactive episode will be November 4th, 2023 at 6 p.m. on YouTube Live. Mark your calendars and get ready for this Motherhoods panel because it's going to be a dope event. And I want you guys to go ahead and follow the YouTube channel. Our channel is Thugging It Out Podcast. And make sure you subscribe to the channel and just get ready for it because it's going to be a lot of content. And when I say subscribe, it's really important that you guys subscribe so that you could be aware of the episode. And when the actual live start, you will get a notification so that you won't miss any of it. Because, like I said, this Motherhoods panel is going to be a very dope event. It's going to be filled with a lot of emotions, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of different faces and a lot of experiences, a lot of backgrounds, and it's going to be just a good mesh of goodness. And I want you guys to make sure that you are able to really be in attendance from the start until the finish. And while y'all at it, make sure you follow us on Instagram at _thuggingitout_. And I'm just going to tell y'all, I'm really trying to build this podcast up because I feel like I want it to be really a safe space. And I want you all to really subscribe and really just to follow us on Instagram because I want to be more intentional in the faces and the spaces that I come across, so that it's always an environment where we can acknowledge, experience, and overcome. Like I always say it every episode, and it's really something that I live by. We always have to acknowledge, experience, and overcome. I'm going to take acknowledge, experience, and overcome to a new level. So that's why I need you guys to always follow, subscribe. And y'all know what we do. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Enough of that. Y'all know what it is. Let's hop on into this episode. We are in part 6 of perfecting the process. I know we are almost at the end, and I'm not going to lie. Those first 5 steps, they were tough. But since we are at part 6, we did our soul searching. We have reacquainted ourselves with ourselves. That whole, hello, I want to introduce myself to myself. We did that. We found our purpose. And we truly understand our purpose. Now it's time that we get to work. And before we hop into the deep end, we have to come up with some type of plan on how we're going to fulfill our purpose. We have to come up with some type of plan, really a rough draft, because we already established that God will always put us on his plan rather than our own. But I think I have to really clarify and break things down a little further because I would hate for y'all to try to use my own words against me or become confused or anything. Because we already established a long time ago that we can make plans all we want, but they never, it's not guaranteed that they'll fall through. A few episodes back, I said that God or your higher power, whichever one you decide, will always change or laugh at your plans when you're moving aimlessly through life or simply living on your own accord and not actively working towards your purpose. I also stated that the key to life is always to find your purpose. Your purpose is the only way you can align your life with the life that God has already laid out for you. And I'm going to say that again, because I think that's kind of what goes over people's head. Your purpose, the real reason why I spent 2 episodes speaking on purpose, trying to help you find your purpose, trying to get you to understand your purpose, trying to get you to really work towards your purpose. It was because your purpose is the only way you can align your life with the life God has already laid out for you. I mean, we all are human. We make mistakes. But all those mistakes that we have made were necessary because they are lessons that turn into skills that can be used when you find your purpose and you begin to work on your plan of truly fulfilling it. Let me say that again. We all are human. We all make mistakes. But those mistakes usually turn into lessons, necessary lessons, that usually teaches us some type of skill that assists us with finding and working through our purpose. So the short version. Life before your purpose, your plans don't stick. And I really want everybody to do some little quick reflection right now. Let's think about your life before you knew your purpose. You probably was out here just doing everything. You probably was trying to start a business. I'm going back to school. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I plan to do this. I want to save money here. I want to stack my money. I want to get this. And it didn't stick. Because guess what? You was not aligned with your purpose. But guess what? When you get aligned with your purpose, you know what your purpose is. You're actively working inside your purpose. Plans are necessary for you to go and fulfill your purpose. Okay? So life before, you might plan something and God like, that ain't what I want you to do. That's not what you're supposed to do. That's absolutely false. But guess what? Once you actually find that purpose and your purpose aligns with the purpose that God put inside you, everything that you do, everything that you work towards, I promise you, will help you get closer and closer to your purpose, and it will work out. Not saying that it will be easy. I'm never saying that, because all life is never going to be easy. Living a purposeful life is the furthest thing from being easy. But in order to actually get to where you need to go, to be purposeful, you gotta plan. So yeah, now that I clarified that, back to the plan. For you to truly get the best results in the best case scenario, you have to plan. You have to make some small goals. You have to write down your game plan. You have to commit to the plan, and you have to put in the work. I'm going to say that again, because when I just say it's time to plan, it's really more than that. You have to make some small goals. You got to have to write down your game plan, your full plan. And you have to commit to the plan, and you have to put in the work. Finding your purpose is kind of low-key the easiest part of the process when we look at the entire picture. And I know a few episodes I said that finding your purpose is hard. It is. I'm never going to take away the fact that finding and living in purpose can be hard. Finding that purpose, finding what you really were put on this earth to do is hard. But compared to actually all the work and energy that you have to put in to actually fulfilling your purpose, it doesn't even compare to all the hardship, the work that you got to put in, all of that. It don't compare. So, mapping out your plan, making smart decisions, committing to the end goal, and actively working to achieve your purpose is where the real work, the real pressure, the real urges, the real want to revert back to the old things, or even a desire to quit comes up more and more. That's why I say it's, finding your purpose is easy compared to actually living it. Because let's just be real. Have y'all noticed that whenever you try to stop doing something or you try to be a little healthier, how hard things get? Temptation begins to creep in, and it low-key can get the best of you. It's very hard to be healthy. Just look at healthy food. Like, have y'all noticed that majority of healthy food is disgusting? Like, it's not good at all. Healthy food is not good. But the unhealthy food, that tastes the best. And we all know how hard it is. If you grew up, or even if you're used to the nasty, the unhealthy food. Like, for instance, I'm black. I don't know what you guys might be. For in a black household, we love our fried chicken. We love, our greens and our string beans, and with the turkey necks and the onions, and we love the cheesy macaroni. We love our sweet potatoes. We love our cornbread. And all of those foods are very unhealthy. Like greens and green beans, they could be considered healthy, but the way we cook it, it's unhealthy. But then when we sit there and we think about kale, I mean, how many people cook, when they cook greens, they're cooking kale? Nobody. Like, kale is disgusting. It tastes like you're eating legit grass. It's terrible. Or just think about when you try to, eat a healthier, sauteed meat, use less seasoning. It don't taste the same. Or even if you want to do sweet potatoes, a baked sweet potato. People don't want that. Or instead of doing macaroni and cheese, you're doing like cauliflower type of macaroni and cheese. It's nasty. So, and it's the same thing when we kind of take that type of example and really take it to our life and purpose. When we're not doing things, when we out here just living our best life, we being a city girl or being a city boy, we sitting there clubbing and we just living the YOLO type of life, like we just doing whatever, we just enjoying ourselves. Life is a little bit more fun because you're not necessarily worried about your future, you're just worried about now. But life can get a little tricky when you start to think about the future and you're working towards the future and you're not necessarily worried about right now. Like, it's when you're in purpose and you're really following your plan, it's easy for you to look at the bigger picture versus, and I feel like it's only easy once you're actually doing it for a while. Say, for instance, for me, when I always got to put y'all in my business, but when I first moved to Tennessee and I was pregnant, I was in a relationship, and I was away from friends. It was a totally different lifestyle that I began to live. I low-key went through withdrawals, like, because before I moved down, before I got pregnant, before I got in a relationship, before I even moved out of town and moved in with a man, I always only had to worry about me and my son. And before I got in a relationship with Ramel, I was living my best life. Like, your girl was in the clubs. I was at a new club every week. I was drinking. I was kicking it. I was, just going to work. And my main focus was to live my best life. And I lived my best life. And it was so fun. But in the midst of me having fun, I was not going nowhere. I was stagnant. And a lot of times, back in the day, I used to put myself in situations that would consistently pull me back. I was low-key, even though I was stagnant, I was low-key going a step, like a small step backwards every time. Versus when I moved down here, it was like cold turkey. It was like, okay, I'm not drinking no more because I'm pregnant. I'm not going outside no more because I'm pregnant, and I'm more focused on my family, my relationship, and I'm not necessarily out here in these streets anymore. And that change, that shift, I feel like it's a part of the reason where I really had postpartum depression really bad. And going through them first 2 years of me being down here and having that real shift in the lifestyle, it really drove me crazy, especially with social media and you seeing everybody, everybody outside living their best life. Like, I lived my best life between, like, I'd say 2014 to 2017, really. I was living my best life. That's 3 years. I enjoyed the fuck out of myself. I'm not even gonna lie. And I'm really trying to stop cursing, but I just really had to say I enjoyed the fuck out of myself. Like, I had a good time. I wouldn't change no part of it for the world because I needed it. It taught me a lot of lessons. I had a lot of good memories and I had a lot of bad ones. But I needed to go through that to get the knowledge, to get the wisdom, to get the tools, to get the strength that I have now. Because when I look at where I'm at now, how I feel now, the strength that I have, I'm trying to tell you, I'm just gonna keep it a buck. It's something that right then and there, I didn't know how can I put it? I didn't know I was capable of being the person that I am today. And I say this all the time, if somebody would have showed me who I am and what I'm going through now, I promise you, I look at them and say, absolutely not. That's not going to be me. I'm not going to be that mom. I'm not going to be that person. But it is. And it was necessary. I know I just went off on a very bad tangent, but I just had to say that because I feel like sometimes some people, they don't want to speak on their past or the parts of their life that was kind of questionable, and the things that they did was kind of questionable, but I feel like mine was necessary. And I'm not ashamed to say that I enjoyed the years when I was outside in the streets. Like, I needed the streets. I needed that to get out. I needed to get that out of my system. Like, I'm sorry. I know a lot of women, especially wives, they always want to steer clear from telling the truth or just keeping it real. Like, I hear so many women that once they become a wife, that it's like they act like they was ever a hoe. Not saying that I was a hoe, but if you know, you know. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna own it. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna keep it a spade. I was a hoe, but I wasn't the type of hoe that these hoes are today. I'm gonna say that. I was a hoe, but I wasn't the type of hoe that these hoes are today. And yes, and I said what I said. And I'm damn sure I'm a wife today. Period. That is the truth. That is the real deal, real spill. And I just can't, I cannot be fake. I have to be 100% real with people, because I feel like my realness is what helps people look at themselves and really force themselves to do better. Because I'm trying to tell you, I'm gonna keep it all 100% a buck. When I was in the street, you know how many times I had thoughts of I want to save more money. Oh, I want to buy this. I want to get into real estate. I want to have my own business. I want to do all of these things. I had so many good ideas. I had so many valid plans, but nothing stuck because of the way I was living. I was not living a purposeful life. I was just living for today and not really caring about tomorrow. And even when I say the first few years that when I moved down here, no, I wasn't still in the streets. But those 2 years that I went through, and I'm not even going to say just 2 years, from when we moved down here in 2018, it was 2018. From 2018 up and into 2020, I feel like it was a process of me relearning and healing all the trauma that I low-key got in those few years that I was in the streets. And I feel like that's necessary too. Being in the streets and enjoying my life, it was fun. It was something I had to get out of my system, but it was also a lot of lessons and a lot of experiences and a lot of mistakes that I had to make. Let me correct that. When I was enjoying my best life, I made a lot of mistakes and I had a lot of experiences. And those mistakes and those experiences created some type of trauma. Different types of trauma. And from 2018 on up to 2020 was me healing the trauma, me learning, me first acknowledging my mistakes, experiencing everything, reflecting and kind of going through everything that I went through, and also learning from it, learning the skills, learning where I went wrong, learning how to take accountability, learning what scars that I need to actually heal, learning what places that I could have improved in. And then once I learned the mistakes, that's when my purpose became clear. That's when I really figured out my purpose. And since then, since 2021, once I realized what my purpose really was, it was me consistently trying to work towards it. me coming up with a plan, me coming up with research, me really, writing down everything that I wanted to do. And it's crazy because I'm not even halfway through my plan. I'm really still like on step 2 of my plan. I had very small goals. I have many goals. But like I said, you make your small goals, you write down your game plan, you commit to the plan, and you put in the work. So let's get back to it. We already acknowledged that you gotta make your goals, make your plan, commit to the plan, put in the work. And we already established that mapping out your plan, making smart decisions, committing to the end goal, and actively putting in the work is hard. It's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging. There's going to be times that you want to quit. But don't fret because if it's truly your purpose, it was what you was made for. Now, here where I'm finna get the preacher to y'all because I got to get y'all together real quick. Because ain't no need to be afraid of this process. And I know I just used the example of me being in the streets and me getting my life together and me becoming a wife as a little example. It's bigger than that. It's been so much stuff that your girl has been through, so many things that I experienced, so much hurt and pain that I encountered over the way that I had to acknowledge, that I had to experience, and that I had to overcome to get to this place of peace that I'm at. And I'm just going to be 100% straight with you. We are all uniquely made. Every one of us is different, and every one of us have different talents, strengths, weaknesses, characters, grit, determination, and stamina. No one on this earth is perfect, because I know I'm not. And if you say you're perfect, go seek help. And no one has all the answers to sway. Not even me. I know I be sounding kind of smart and convincing sometimes, but I ain't got all the answers to sway. So don't you ever get discouraged when I say that the process won't be easy. Ask yourself, when has life ever been easy? Because I know a lot of people, they want to make it seem as if living a purposeful, meaningful life is kind of lame and it's kind of overrated. But just look at your life in general before you even get to work. When has your life ever been easy? Some of our lives have been hard since we were a kid. And some of them have just been as hard as long as we can remember. And I'm going to just double down and say life is hard, period. And don't get worked up when I keep it real. And tell y'all, living out your purpose will be hard. Because life is hard. And if y'all ain't recognized by none, ain't nothing easy. Nothing. Nothing is easy. And I had low-key, I had told my son this. Have you ever recognized that when things come too easy, for one, it doesn't last, or two, it's not what it seems. So it come to bite you in the ass in the long run. But when you actually have to work towards something that comes a little harder, you got to put a little more effort into it, it's more worth it. It lasts longer. And you get a sense of, what am I trying to say? You just get more pleasure out of it. Just start to think about it. I'm going to challenge y'all. Really think about, when has life ever been easy? And when it was easy, kind of what was the outcome versus when things were a little harder. So with that being said, fulfilling your purpose will have many different ups and downs, many emotions, and many challenges, but it is possible. Having a plan and living your life in a way where you achieve your goals and you actively work towards your end goal is where your purpose fuels you. It's all a big circle that all works together if you let it. Let me paint the picture. You did the work, you healed, and you found yourself, and now you know your purpose. So now what? You come up with a plan to answer all the key questions. What is my purpose? How will I fulfill it? How will I reach my goals? Why is my purpose so important? When is my potential completion end date? Who will assist me with my purpose? Who will help me along the way? And there's plenty of other questions that, but we just talking about the basics. Now that you got the plan, it's time to work. You start putting in the work, and like normal, you might hit obstacles, a few setbacks, or even moments where things are adding up. So you know what? It's time to go back to the drawing board and find answers to the problems you just encountered. And just like clockwork, you're back in the game and you back putting in the work. It's a big circle. Like, I don't see hopefully I painted the picture well, but it's just a big circle. But the difference is, here's the key. The difference is when you're fulfilling your purpose, each time you circle back, you are in a different position, you're in a better headspace, and you're more equipped to get closer to your purpose. You're closer to the goal. So don't get afraid when you hear that it will be hard. Don't get turned off when you have to get a little dirty, bust a sweat, and put in the work. Make the plan. Sit down, brainstorm, and commit to the process. Ask the questions. Write down the questions if you have to. And start the journey of fulfilling your purpose. Okay? Like I said, it is a big circle, y'all. And I know I sound like a broken record on this episode, but I feel that we have to start really working in our purpose. I feel like the reason why the world is so crazy and the world is so messed up today is because nobody is living in their purpose. They're not working towards anything. Everybody want to be like the next person. Everybody want to do something that worked for the next person. Not recognizing that everybody is not built to be good at that. You have your own strengths. You have your own talents. You have your own things that you're good at. That's your purpose. You're good. Look, listen. I don't know who needs to hear this, but you're good at talking because you need that skill to fulfill your purpose. You're good at writing because you need that to fulfill your purpose. You might be good at meeting people because you need that for your purpose. You might be good at listening. You might be good at meeting new people. You might be good at networking. Everybody have certain skills, and you might just be good at doing hair, at doing nails, at doing something physical. Or you just might be good at just being you. And that's all you need. You have to really recognize what are your talents, what are you really good at, and what is your purpose, and build off of that, because we all are uniquely made. We all are here for different reasons. And like I said before, we're not here to just be moms and dads. We are not here just to be, reproductive animals. Like, come on now, we're human. We have a problem, and it's up to you to solve it. So that's why it's time to plan and put in the work. Put the plan together. Like, have you ever saw a person to start build a house without a plan? They can't. They need a blueprint. You never really saw a cook begin to cook without a recipe. It's necessary. Like, I'm sorry to tell you, but you just can't wing it. You just can't wing it through life. Yeah, I mean, sometimes we could pull something off. But the only reason why I come together is through God's grace. And He gives it to us sometime. But I'm trying to tell you that the grace that He gives you, the power He instills in you will be 100% greater if you really learn and know your purpose. Know your purpose. Know why you're here. Make the plan. Create the goals. And put in the work. I'm sorry to tell you, but you're going to have to work. You have to do something. You have to put something in, because you reap what you sow. That's something. You reap what you sow. You get out what you put in. If no man don't work, he don't eat. Okay? Okay. And that's when I'm going to get out of y'all hair and I'm done preaching. Like, I'm done preaching, because I just feel really passionate today. And I really want you guys to understand the importance of making the plan and putting in the work. It's necessary. Continue the process and start making your plan and how you will fulfill your purpose. It will be hard because your girl ain't gonna lie to you. I'm always keeping a buck. It will be hard, but it will be worth it. Mark your calendars for November 4th. I need y'all live in the chat for this motherhood panel, and stay tuned because I got something up my sleeve for the fathers, because I am not just a woman lover. I love all people, and just as mothers are important, fathers are too. That will be coming up soon. And if you know some fathers who will be interested in being on a panel and having their voice heard, tell them to hit me up. But in the meantime, between time, we talking about the mothers because we're mothers. And ladies are first. November 4th on YouTube Live. Mark your calendars. Get ready. Tell a friend and tell a friend. And make sure y'all go subscribe to the YouTube channel, because y'all need to be, on there so y'all could be ready for the exclusive content. Get ready, y'all. I love y'all. And make sure y'all tell a friend and tell a friend. Mark y'all calendars for real. November 4th. I'm going to say it 3 times. November 4th. November 4th at 6 p.m. November 4th on YouTube Live, 6 p.m. The Motherhoods panel. Be there or be square and get ready to laugh, cry, vent, and empower, because it's going to be a good event. And that brings us to the end of yet another episode of Thugging It Out. Remember to be grateful, you be blessed, be thankful, but most importantly, keep thugging it out. Peace.